You probably haven't seen many wide-brimmed hats with neck protection on a construction site, as normally hard hats must be worn at all times. Hard hats don't usually have cover for the neck. However, some manufacturers produce neck protection that can be attached to your hard hat. Where neck protection is not provided or available, you need to think about how you can cover and protect your neck. Another area of the body which can be affected by UV radiation is the eyes, with damage leading to cataracts or even cancer in the eye. When selecting sunglasses, you need to remember: choose wraparound types to prevent the sun creeping in at the sides. Ensure the sunglasses have a marked UV rating of 400 and with a label stating 100% UV protection.
I think it would be very dangerous to say that there is a problem in industry as a whole. There are some industries that are really, really good, and yet in other parts of the industry it's really, really bad. And that goes across the whole industrial spectrum. There are retail outlets that are really good at looking after the workers. There are other areas in retail where they're absolutely appalling. But where the industries that are good at looking after their people, you find that the people are also good at their jobs and they feel more productive, they feel more valued. And again, where the industries that don't look after their people, you find that they don't stay in the jobs very long, they move to other posts very quickly. They don't tend to be as productive, they tend to be more focused on business strategy rather than involving their people in business strategies and using people as a measurement of success. They'll measure their success in contracts fulfilled, contracts, price costs, price cuts, how much profit they make. They don't measure their business in terms of how much good are we doing for the environment, how much good are we doing for the local communities we operate within, how much good are actually doing for the workforce. And one of the measures of good business is the Global Retail Index, which measures all these sorts of things, but it measures the softer side of business as well. And again, businesses that do well, they try and give the message out so that there's a motivator for the workforce. Not all these messages you can do, so you have to sometimes give them the negative messages. And this is one of the things that's improved about safety practitioners and health. We'll be getting better and more sophisticated at giving the messages out. Myself, I use two methods, whiffums and whammies. What's in it for me? These are the motivating things that if people take on board means they can immediately improve their lives, improve their working conditions. If I can't find a whiffum that they'll be interested in, I'll give them a whammy. What's against my interest? Well, these are the reasons why you should do this. This is what may happen to you if you don't do this. And if the whammies, being the negative things, it usually concentrates on all the harmful things that will happen to them. Well, we don't want people to think negatively, we want people to think positively. So I always try and look for what's in it for them, what gives them the winning streak from this information. And if that doesn't sink in, then hit them really hard with, well, ignore this at your peril because these are the effects that are likely to happen. But not just likely to happen to you, to your mates, and possibly effects on your family as well.
And finally, maritime industry, I assume there's a elevated risk there of, sort of occupational cancer from the sun as a result of being out and about, and also the reflection from the sea.
Yes, there's the reflection, but there's also the cargoes they carry. Now, there is a newly developed international maritime standard about the loading and storage of goods on ships. Back in the UK, where I live, there's a small inland port. And because of the standards that are different there, the ship was new. It had all the warning signs about oxygen starvation in the hold. It had all the equipment and breathing apparatus about people entering the hold, what they had to do. Everything was there. Yet, on Easter Monday last year, I woke up to hear sirens, fire engines, ambulances and police going to the docks. And the simple reason being was that they'd opened the door to the hold and a worker had gone in. Now, a lot of people aren't aware that wood in an enclosed hole actually absorbs the oxygen. So you create an oxygen depleted atmosphere. The guy went in, immediately collapsed. He disregarded the signs, he disregarded the warnings, and from the subsequent investigation it turns out that they weren't trained to enter this confined space. Immediately a second man goes in to try and rescue his mate, which is a human reaction. But instead of going, he should have put the breathing apparatus on. It was there. And the third man went in. Eventually what happens is you've 3 men dead because nobody had bothered to give them the information that they needed about entering the hold. Everything was there. The instructions was there. The breathing apparatus was there. They hadn't been trained. They didn't know. They didn't have the knowledge. And the thing with it, the international standards, is that Gibraltar adopts the United Kingdom standards for storage and stowage on ships. Not everybody else does. And if you think about the journeys that ships have, cargoes move, they'll mix up, you may get oxygen depletion. And that's because of the different standards that we have around the world. Well, at least the maritime trade's trying to standardise this to improve things, but that's going to take a long time. So yes, you have a huge maritime industry in Gibraltar, but you need to be aware that not everybody's got the same standards as you, and you need to be taking care to protect your workers. But with your workers doing the right thing, that message will go to the seamen on board the ships, and they'll start to question and ask about, well, who's protecting our safety? It spreads the message.
Many sites now have sun lotion dispensers or provide single-use sachets for you to use, and there are many sun lotions on the market which are quick drying and non-greasy, so dust and dirt won't stick to your skin. When you use sun lotion, the following points are important. Ensure the sunscreen you use has UVA and UVB protection and a solar protection factor SPF rating of 30, as well as a 4-star rating. Don't scrimp. You need to put at least a teaspoonful on each arm, leg, front and back of the body, and at least half a teaspoonful to the face every time you put on sun lotion. Make sure you leave enough time for the cream to soak in before going out in the sun. Make sure you reapply cream regularly during the day, remembering to wash your skin beforehand. Remember, you need to put the lotion on all areas which are not covered and could be exposed to the sun. Don't forget your neck, head, ears and back.
You see, prevention's better than cure. And if we can prevent, that's fine. But we're not going to be able to prevent all cancers, because some of them will occur naturally as part of lifestyle choices and effects on your body. But again, it's like diesel fumes. We know that diesel fumes are carcinogenic. So we can actually make sure that we start to clean the air up, the environment, and make sure that we don't use the cars as much. Getting people to walk. Now again, this is linked in because you have the car, people drive diesel cars, they're in the cars for a long time. Well, actually, we know that people who are exercising and become healthier have a higher level of, not immunity, but have a higher level of protection against cancers. People who have an unhealthy lifestyle, eat the wrong diets, don't exercise, become obese, are at higher risk from certain types of cancers than others. So making air cleaner, cutting down on diesel fumes, stopping people, well, not stopping, but encouraging people to walk rather than go in cars, all contributes to a healthy lifestyle, which will actually act as a prevention against some types of cancers, but not all.
But if you've had a mole that you've always had there's no changes on it, then you don't need to worry about it. If you start noticing that there is a change in size, in shape, the edges become irregular, it's bleeding, itching, and one of these things on its own is not enough. But if you're not sure, then come and see us.
ICC?
ICC, you need to go to see your GP. Most GPs will be able to tell whether it is normal, and if it's normal they can tell you there's nothing wrong with it, but if they're not sure they will give us a referral, and if they think it's suspicious we see you quickly.
I think that the conference we've just been present at has been is a great starter to start the ball rolling, and I think that really we should aim to have a set form of education in the schools, in the social groups, in the youth groups, and have campaigns and more education all round, you know, and public campaigns generally. I mean, starting from the young and just carrying it over. And at the beaches, possibly the lifeguards being protected adequately, and insisting that the public who are using the beaches also are aware of the safety measures, having the UV radiation displayed on a day-to-day basis, and having sun creams provided at the beaches, and you know, so people can make an informed choice of their health.
And Mr. Briggs highlighted that we haven't had a death despite the construction boom that Gibraltar has experienced in the past 4 years. What do you take from that observation?
Well, there is most certainly an element of luck. There is an element of luck that really goes without saying. But I have to say that health and safety at building sites has improved very considerably, and there are safety officers on site making sure that people comply with health and safety requirements and that, and the workforce are motivated, and the benefits are explained to them. And the important thing, as Tim said, is that people do things because they see it as something positive rather than something that is imposed on them. And I think that the fact that we haven't had a fatality over the past, I think it's 6 years now, it's to do with the fact that health and safety has gone a long way here in Gibraltar.
Many thanks to the Institution of Occupational Safety and Health and the Gibraltar Health Authority for their contributions to tonight's programme on occupational cancer. We'll be back at the same time next week with another Viewpoint looking at why bosses need to recognise their workers are first and foremost people, and we speak to the Heritage Trust about their election wish list. But for now, from the whole team here at Broadcasting House, many thanks for watching and good night.